Hi, everybody. Last time we saw how the three different branches of stenography earn different amounts of money. Today, we're going to look at how each branch of stenography is actually difficult in its own way. Last time we saw a graph depicting the different levels of money earned by stenographers in the three branches of stenographic careers, with those in the toughest adversarial environments, the court reporters, making the most money, and the cart providers in happy environments making the least amount of money. Sometimes people think that because a job pays less money, it's easier. Emotionally, this is true of the three branches of stenography, but skill-wise on the keyboard, it is not. Let me explain. If you are enjoying my video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. There was a time that I thought to myself, if I lose my job, I can fall back on waitressing and make money that way. I thought that because waitressing paid less money than stenography, that I could do it easily without any problems. Because if it paid less, it must be easier, right? Well, in some ways it is easier. However, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that's not always true. I don't have the physical stamina to handle a waitressing shift without being exhausted and useless the next day. I don't have the ability to multitask and remember everybody's orders without getting them mixed up. While my job as a stenographer requires intense mental focus, and I'm good at that, that doesn't make me good at multitasking at all. And the third problem is that I'm a klutz. I'd probably have to do one order at a time and hold the plate with both hands. I could never try to hold multiple plates in one hand while using the other to pass those plates to customers without likely dropping the food on the floor. So my mental contemplation of what the job of waitressing would really entail brought me to the conclusion that in reality, just because a job pays less doesn't mean it's easier than a job that pays more, such that you can easily transition from one to the other. So how does this relate to stenography? Well, there's the misconception that if you're a court reporter for many years and you retire, you can just jump into cart captioning and take on those jobs with no problem, right? Especially if you take on a class with a lot of legal terminology, like a law school class, for example. What could go wrong? It's just a bunch of words, spoken just like in court. This is a tempting thing to think, but nothing could be further from the truth. One time, a former court reporter took on a full slate of law school classes for cart work from one of my agencies, and she was unable to produce the transcripts within 24 hours after class ended because her workload was too much and her experience in cart was minimal. What she should have done to transition from court to cart would be to take just one class of cart and learn gradually how to do it. Because cart is real time and court is not, her real time may have been lacking. Also, in court, lawyers ask questions a lot. When you ask a question, you put the verb in front of the rest of the words. When you say a statement, you put the subject in front of the verb. So, for example, did he say fall down? Versus, he said fall down. On the stenography machine, it's like driving in one direction and then in the reverse. Your fingers hit the verb first, then the subject in court, but it's the reverse in cart. It's like learning to drive again in the other direction. This makes switching from court to cart and vice versa much more difficult than it might seem. Even if you're switching from broadcast captioning to cart, there are still a lot of vocabulary words in cart that you might not be familiar with from broadcast captioning and have to build your dictionary of terminology heard in the university world of professors speaking about STEM subjects. As well, in the cart world, you have a lot more professors with foreign accents, from Indian to Chinese to Russian to Spanish, etc. Whereas in the court world, I believe there's less of that, although defendants could be speaking with many accents too. So each branch of stenography is difficult in its own way, and switching from one to the other is not necessarily that easy to do. If you want to switch, take the transition gradually, and you'll be able to learn what's needed for the new branch that you want to enter. What happened to the former court reporter who could not produce the transcripts for the law student? The agency boss had to hire other cart providers to redo her jobs from scratch using audio and get the transcripts out in time for the student to study for the final exam. Sadly, that former court reporter would probably not get any more jobs from the agency after that fiasco. But if she had taken a lighter load, she could have probably transitioned seamlessly to the world of cart by learning what needed to be learned for the new branch of stenography. Next time, we'll learn from the cotyledons how to build your career in stenography, and really any career, gradually from a small two-leafed plant to the big tree you want to be. Okay, so it is important to transition gradually from one branch of stenography to another. And also, next time we will look at the transition between school and work and how to learn from the cotyledons to do it gradually. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.